Hey everyone, it's Kai from Cool Collectibles back again for another review. This time it's the Hot Toys MSS466 Neo from The Matrix. Now I did receive this about a month ago now, but I did have a issue that I had to go back to Sideshow with. I have been pissed off with Sideshow for a whole bunch of other reasons regarding another group on Facebook, but one thing you can't fault Sideshow with is their customer service. Now when I first got mine, this is the original sculpt I got. Not sure if you can really tell. There was a, right on the tip of the nose, there's a whole bunch of paint scraped off of it. You can probably just make it up there, that little white patch on the tip of his nose. And so I got back to them and asked them if I could get a replacement, and they sent it out, no issue at all. I haven't actually been asked to destroy this one either, so I don't know if I'll just keep it as a spare or anything like that. But thanks to Sideshow for sending out the replacement in pretty quick time too, and I've just been lazy with work and family and stuff like that to put out this review faster. And there's been a whole bunch of reviews on this one, so I won't spend too much time on it, but I will go through some of the things that I was looking at. It does come with a whole bunch of accessories, as you would expect for Neo, and all the weapons they used in the movie. And I'll go through the things that I was focused on where exactly and how he used them in that gun fight at the bank or whatever that building was in that scene. So I'll go through it in a bit. The box itself, nothing too fancy to write home about, but I do like the fact that they've got this outer slip cover that's got the sort of face sculpt picture of him, and the green background that is of course iconic to the Matrix. But I'll get all that stuff out the way and go through the accessories. Hold on. Right, the biggest thing that it comes with, of course, is this dynamic base, and I'm always in two minds about these. I've only probably used it in one case in my collection, whereas most of the other ones I prefer the smaller bases. If you do want to do it and pose him in some of those, upside down somersaulting type poses and so on, this is probably good, particularly with the clamp and so on, where you can wrap it around his waist or his legs. So it can cater for that, but for my display I'll probably just put this straight back in the box and use a generic black stand. But I guess that's a good option for you guys that like to dynamically pose your figures. Comes with the bag that they use in that scene as he goes into the building looking for Morpheus. There is padding inside there, and I think you can, that's just a bit of Velcro there, so you can undo this little strap thing and get access to the zippers and so on. They are working, but the last time I tried pulling one of those, I actually snapped it off, so I'm not even going to bother trying that. I actually thought the machine guns and so on were placed in the bag, but going back to the movie, I think this just held some bombs or something like that, and all the guns were picked up elsewhere or on him, on his body itself. So I'll probably just have this displayed next to him. I do like the fact that they've got these wheels there. They're not rolling or anything, but that does look quite nice. He comes with his sunglasses, which people have said are a little bit too big. I don't actually mind it. On the head sculpt itself, I'll just use this one here. You just sort of gently put it into the grooves on the side there. And I think that looks pretty damn fantastic. As always, I think the likeness almost comes because the eyes are hidden. It almost makes the likeness look better, just like it does on the Terminator figures for Arnold Schwarzenegger. So the DX-13 and the T-800 from the first movie definitely look better with glasses on, and I think Neo here looks fantastic with the glasses on. And in that scene he had the glasses, so I'll definitely be posing it up with the glasses there, but we'll get to the head sculpt in a second anyway. Also comes with a bunch of posing hands, of course. He's got the relaxed hands out of the box, but a couple of fists. I'm not actually sure if Hot Toys always reuses the molds and so on, but the paint application is always quite nice, and the sculpting of the veins and so on. He does have a couple of those wide open force push type hands that he used at the end there, and of course the gun holding hands. But onto the guns. As you can see, he comes with a whole bunch, and I went through that scene bit by bit to work out exactly where and how he used them. So these two here, and I don't even know what the model of these guns are, to be honest, so I'm not even going to bother try and say those names. But these ones were the ones that he used first, and they were strapped around his shoulders, and you can just make out the strap in the scene when he opens up to show the guard. And so these, he must have magically unclipped them, because you do have to put this clip and strap on. So he pulls those out first and crosses his arms and does that shooting scene where he shoots all the guards, and then he discards those and chucks those on the ground, and then he pulls these two pistols, which are all nicely painted and so on. I do like the weathering on some of these, the silver wash and so on. And he pulls these out of the front of his pants because they're sort of jammed in the front of his pants. They are a bit tight to get in on the figure itself, but you can sort of force them in, and it does look quite good. And these ones here, I do think they've got a sort of loading or shooting mechanism. I think you can, where was it on this one? Was it a bit easy? You can push this forward, I think. Or was it back? Mine doesn't seem to want to move right now. Just as I said it moves. But you get the idea. And I'm not sure if this reloading here, you can see the bullet in there and so on, so it's good that they have those sort of features if you want to pose him sort of reloading or anything like that. So that's quite a good option. So once he uses those, I think he then what does he do then? I think he then picks up the machine guns. I think it then goes into the scene where he does the somersaulting, and then picks up the machine gun. So I think it's that scene, and then after he does the that iconic somersault scene with I think they're M16s, he then pulls these out of I think the straps on his legs, his lower legs or his thighs. It's not clear in the movie, but on the figure and some of the other photos that I've seen from collectors, you do have straps where you can put these into his thighs. So he pulls those out. And then after he uses these, he then grabs these from the back of his pants. So he must have these inserted in the back of his pants, just like the other pistols were in the front. And he pulls those out, and the scene pretty much finishes with him using these. And I think these also have the removable reload thing. You can just push that back in. So those are quite nice, and I do like the little sort of gold or rust colored highlights on there. So all of those guns he uses. What Hot Toys did miss, they gave 2 M16s, and he only used one in that gunfight scene on the first floor. But what they did not include in the set, they did include these holsters in the figure, but they did not include the pistols that he used. So in the scene, he didn't actually use the guns or the pistols that were in there, and I think I was told that he uses those when he goes to the roof in the next scene after that. So they've included one more M16, which again I think he uses another one of these up on the roof, but the pistols here they missed out. So we can't fully deck him out, but I have seen a couple of photos where he's fully decked out with these sort of strapped around his shoulders, and then you have these inserted, I think, through his thighs there, and then you have the guns inserted through there. I'm not even going to bother trying to put these behind, but for me, he'll be holding these in his hands and having these in his thighs and these in the front, and I'll probably just have these and the others just lying down next to the bag. But you can deck him all out. He does look a little bit overcrowded when he's all fully decked out like that, and I have seen some poses where it does look pretty damn awesome. So I'll just get all of these other accessories out the way and get onto the figure. Alright, we'll start with the head sculpt, and as always, there's always differing opinions on the quality of the likeness and so on, but I think out of all the customs I've seen and this one from Hot Toys, I actually think Hot Toys has nailed that sort of subtle squint that he has, and that likeness, that sort of unsure nature about him that Keanu Reeves always sort of conveys in his movies, that sort of derpiness, I guess, if you want to call it that. But I think their likeness is I wouldn't say completely spot on, and as I was saying before, it does look better with the sunglasses, but I think they've captured everything beautifully. The 5 o'clock shadow, the subtle skin texture and so on, the glassiness of the eyes, and that beautiful sort of fine stranding of the hair. As always, no one does it better than Hot Toys, I think. Apart from the blemish on the nose, just be careful when you open yours, because when I opened mine, I could tell that the face was pushed right up against the clamshell, so I was worried that the nose was going to have some rub on it, and of course when I opened it, it had rubbed the paint off. So just double check yours when you unbox yours. The rest of the outfit, now this is, you know, one of the iconic outfits from action movies out of the late 90s and early 2000s and so on. And I think overall Hot Toys has done a fantastic job. Now I can't actually remember if his overcoat was actually meant to be a leather overcoat. I doubt it, but I thought Trinity's might have been leather. But the way they've done this sort of texture with this thin, almost like a khaki material, there is a wire fed through the tip here. That's a very thin wire, and just the tailoring I think is really, really nice. It sort of flares out at the back ends here, so you can sort of fold it up around his legs if you want, or you can really have a lot of fun with splaying that out. And if you move that, you can have it all sort of flowing in the wind, so it might gradually sort of come down, but it does stay out like that in most poses I've seen anyway. So I think they've done a great job with that jacket. You can take it off, but I won't even bother doing that. All of this sort of strapping around the holsters and the belt and so on, it's all intertwined together. So I've been really careful in trying not to muck around and accidentally rip anything off. So this strap here is attached to the holsters, which is then attached through the belt, etc. My belt at the front here tends to ride up a little bit, but hopefully with the guns jammed inside, that sort of solves that problem a bit. And hopefully with all of this sort of fake pleather material, it doesn't start cracking or peeling over time. I've been pretty lucky with all of my figures that have similar materials. I haven't had a single problem so far, so hopefully that continues. With all the strapping here, this again, this non sort of, that's not the fake leather, but this sort of, I can't remember what sort of material that is, but that sort of strapping goes around the belt as well, and then comes down the front. And I think this fake leather bit is just sewn on across this other strap, and then connects down here. So that all sort of ties together, and it looks quite movie accurate based on what I've seen. But I think my favorite would have to be the boots. I wasn't actually expecting pleather type material and these real sort of buckles. I was actually expecting fully sculpted boots, but I guess the Hot Toys have gone all out and done some amazing work on these boots. You get the full articulation in the ankles, so you can get that rocking motion and tilt back and forth. Just be careful how you sort of bend this, just in case over time it does start to crack. But I guess it's a similar material to some of the ones that they've used for their Star Wars figures and so on. And I do love those steel caps at the front there. It just looks really, really good. And I don't think anything hinders the articulation. You can get the arms quite open to the side there. You can get the double jointed elbows and knees. Let's see if I can get that double joint. It looks like my bottom joint here is a little stuck, but you can get it past the 90 degrees anyway. So you can get them into all sorts of bullet dodging poses and things like that. But as always for mine, I'll probably just have it posed pretty statically, with holding all of his guns and so on, just in that hero pose, which is pretty boring to most, but I just can't be bothered, and I don't have the space anymore to really space them out and have them in all sorts of fancy poses. The t-shirt, just a word of warning on the t-shirt, I have heard that bleeds, and I'm not sure if the coat here bleeds as well. I did push the plastic around the neck that comes with it. I pushed it down a little bit, but just to hide it, but it is there for just that extra bit of protection if I've ever needed it. I haven't had any bleed issues with any of my other figures as well, which has been good, but hopefully it stays that way. But that's pretty much it. I'll hopefully deck him all out with all of this stuff and post some more photos up on the Cool Collectibles Facebook page and Instagram, so hopefully you can head over to those places and follow me there and check out the photos as I post them up over the next week or so. But that's pretty much it for the Hot Toys Neo figure. Hopefully click that like and subscribe button. I do have my next review coming out will be for the Lego Flintstone set, so if you're a Lego fan as well, hopefully you can stick around for that. But until then, thanks again, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Cheers.